Good morning to you, viewers of High Television. You are welcome to the midweek edition of the program Press Brief this fine Wednesday morning, the 10th of January 2024. Stay tuned with us. We'll be back to give you what the papers are saying. And with the second part, we'll be meeting our reviewer on today's edition. To not move a muscle, we'll be right back. Hello there, you all are heartily welcome back on the program for presentation. I am attending Larry Kevin Tabot. To start off with municipal updates, newspaper, the paper of Victor Bamacham for this morning have as lead story. The paper makes reference to the New Year wishes to the Prime Minister Dion Guti yesterday at the Star Building. It titles that Star Building, Happy New Year, Prime Minister. And in that said paper, the paper reports on Honorable Malumba Eseme Bax Awards get outstanding title of Mavago title from the Fako Chiefs. And we take you to the Northwest region where the minister delegates at the Ministry of External Relations in charge of cooperations with the Commonwealth, Felix Mbayu, feeds the new year with media family in the Northwest region. 2024 Bamenda 2 Council projects 2.1 billion as running budget for the year. We'll take you to Njikwa Council in the Northwest region too. It says prioritizes electrification, roads, constructions. Get to read more on that paper for this morning. We move over to Douala with the publication of M4 Asho for this morning. It says Mongo Division, a member of parliament who actually truncated justice. Get to read more on that publication for today. Metas Young of Terry Diaga reports on Yaoundé fast becoming a breeding ground for mosquitoes. You can find more on that said paper for today. The international friendly to the build-up of African Cup of Nations 2024 in Ivory Coast. It says one for Cameroon, one for Zambia. So the paper gives the expectations of the Indomitable Lions over there in Ivory Coast. We crossed over to Cameroon Tribune for today. Is interested in the bilateral relationship between Cameroon and the Japanese government as President Paul Biya bids farewell to the outgoing Japanese ambassador to Cameroon. That was yesterday at the Etudi Palace. African Cup of Nations 2023 Lions in Yamoussoukro today. You can find more on that paper for today. And we take you to National Episcopal Conference unfolding in Maroua in the Far North region. The paper talks of peace mission in Maroua by the bishops of Cameroon. Get to read that story on that said publication of Marie Claire's for today. Lojou of Hamanamana is interested in the forestry sector. It says 45 billion CFA francs as taxes for 2024 in the forestry sector. And we take you to this other story. The paper reports on 10,000 indirect employment have been generated in the electricity sector. You can find more on that publication for today. Moving over to Nigeria with the Punch. The Punch for today says humanitarian ministry scandal. EFCC seizes Edu former minister's passports. You can find more on that said paper for today. Bank managing directors grilled suspended ministers barred from traveling. And police parades 3 suspected linked to plateau killings in the north central states of Nigeria. NNPCL post over 2 trillion naira profits and fake degrees. It says federal government props into 107 private varsities in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nigerian President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu hails as president trims on foreign trips entourage. You can find more on that publication for today. The Nation for this morning reports on 37 billion naira and 585 million naira props. Sadiya Edo barred from traveling. Short third mainland bridge over the lagoon in Lagos as worsened gridlock. And we take you to police rescue hotelier health after payment of 25 million naira ransom. We come back to Cameroon with the reality place for today. It says Housing and Urban Development Minister Celestin Kecha Cortez continue with her works as she is highly awaited in Douala and Marwa for some great working session over there in the littoral and the north regions of the country. And we'll move over to the Guardian Post for this day. It talks of biometric. Cameroonian Amadou Adamu hit another global milestone in New Year wishes. It talks of Health Minister urges stakeholders to work in building modern healthcare system in the country. We crossed over to ease acquisition of tax compliance certificates. It talks of Directorate General of Taxation launches call centers, and wrap up with this one from FACO Division. Prophet recognized at home. FACO chiefs confer prestigious Mavago title on Malumba Esembe. And we take you to the next publication, Emergence, on Emergence Quotidien for this day. The health sector, the paper reports on promises made by the health minister Manaona Malashi to health practitioners. We move over to the aviation sector. It talks of traffic of passengers continue to record an increase in the various airports in the country. Excuse me. From that paper of Quotidien Emergence, we cross over to Bafoussam with Louis Echo. Louis Echo talks of Antoine Zegui, who president to head the affairs of the new measure of GICAM and ICAM known as GICAM. You can find more on that paper for today. New Year wishes. The paper reports on the city mayor of Bafoussam, Roger Tafan, who received New Year wishes to some close collaborators. Get to read more on that story from Bafoussam on Louis Echo for today. We cross over to Informatin for this morning. It talks of increase in basic construction materials in the country. You can find more on page 2 to 3 on that publication for today. We take you now to the sports paper. That is the Punch Sports Extra. It talks of Kylian Mbappe to decide future soon. And in that said paper, Henry opens up on depression. And we'll move over to Chelsea keen on Dybala. You can find more on that said Dybala. You can find more on that said paper for today. And Boniface to undergo surgery out till April. And the Super Eagles of Nigeria on their African Cup of Nations, it talks of debutants. It says Eagles parade 9 AFCON newcomers. Get to read more on that said paper for today. Let's take you to Premier Zur for today. It talks of the Martinez Zogo affair. That as the unending saga continues, you get to read that story on Premier Zur. We move over to those others. One obituary says the Director General of the Promotion Investment Fund who dies in a hospital in Turkey. You get to read that story on that said paper for today. Press governance for this morning report on the a report on the harmonization of activities when it comes to youth, as the youth are gearing up for the celebration of the 11th of February slated for this year. Cameroon Business Today for this morning have as lead story import substitution policy of the country, placing emphasis on agriculture. And University of Boya, the paper report on engineering students showcases potentials. Get to read more on that publication for today. The Herald Tribune for this morning report on Vatican releases global Catholic statistic report. And Mancon, it says MAF donates CFA France 300 million worth medical equipment to health centers across the northwest region. Kavaye Jibril debunked social media rumors about his steady state. Get to read that story on that publication for this morning. We take you to the last paper for today. That is the Sun. The Sun for this morning says, Kate stood by me. Now I want justice for all. You can find more on the UK tabloid for this morning. With that paper from the UK, the Sun. Viewers, this is where we'll put a pause on the program. We'll be back with our reviewer for the second part of the program. Do not move a muscle. Hello there, viewers of High Television. If you are just joining us, you are on to Press Brief, and on this program, the peoples always confess. This is the second part of the program reserved for our review. Our reviewer for this morning is Joseph Epie, practicing journalist with one of the leading private radio station in the Southwest region. That is Revival Gospel Radio, who happens to be a sports journalist. Good morning to you, Joseph. You're welcome. You're heartily welcome on the program.
Thanks so much.
All right, we kickstart this second part of the program with quotidian emissions for today. Côte d'Ivoire 2024. What expectation or chances do the Indomitable Lions have when it comes to the clinching of the trophy?
Well, normally Cameroon going for the AFCON this time around with 15 new players, unlike Nigeria going with 9 players and Senegal with no home-based player. I expect to see fireworks from Cameroon. Unfortunately, yesterday for them it was another 1-1 draw, as was with the case with Jamaica on the 9th of November 2022. So I expect Cameroon to go into the AFCON as still be arriving Côte d'Ivoire today as from 11 a.m. For them to be able to prove their critics wrong. It's true, many people are saying Gobesson has no tactics, he has no game style, but I think what I saw yesterday, he's struggling to build a team of his own. So Cameroonians should learn to trust him, because no one trusted Hugo Broos in 2017 won the AFCON. So I believe Cameroon actually has what it takes to win the AFCON in 3 days from today. And I believe that with the squad which they have, the experience which they have, the young players which they have, the youngest team so far, one of the youngest teams so far in the competition, they will be able to go places if given the chance to show what they can do.
All right, but with many of the opinion that this the tactician, that is Rigobert Song, does not have a good plan when it comes to the positioning of players. As we saw, Zambia almost defeated us yesterday in Saudi Arabia, not after a hard struggle that we were able to equalize the goal. So many are of the opinion that they don't see the team going any further, given the circumstances of some key strikers like Joel Matip and some others who weren't called by the set head coach Rigobert Song.
Yeah, I get your point. Cameroonians, like Rigobert said some years back, Cameroonians, even as a coach, they have the tactics of playing. But I think let's learn to trust him, because this man won against Algeria. We went to the World Cup, won Brazil at the World Cup, won another team again for us to come to the AFCON. So I believe he has the tactics. It is true, we want the results now, but let's not be like what people want to say, the now syndrome. Okay. Let's trust him and give him some time. Let's see what he can do. I believe the AFCON is starting. It's an open chance for all the teams to pick up the ticket, and I believe that Rigobert Song knows what he is going for the AFCON. He has won it 2 times and knows what it means to play the AFCON, and now he can become the head coach to play and win the AFCON if he given the chance to do so. All
right, we pray so, and we are wishing the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon good luck over there in Ivory Coast, precisely in Yamoussoukro. We'll move over to something else with still emergence for today. It talks of the aviation sector. It says increase of passengers traveling out of the country. What is happening with Cameroonians according to that paper of quotidian emergence on page 2? The Japa syndrome, or the Bushfalla syndrome, an increase of persons traveling out of the country, as the airports of Douala, Yaoundé, Garoua have recorded an increase of Cameroonians traveling out.
Well, Larry, seriously, it's something to laugh about, but look at the economy of Cameroon. It is going high every day. We're hearing that next month there is going to be increase in fuel and everything. So I think Cameroonians are looking for someone which is much more better. We call that in pidgin green pasture. But the issue is, how green is the pasture which you are going for out there? Which road are you taking? It's good that going through the air, unlike the land, through Mexico way, which at times is dangerous for Cameroonians or Africans. So I think if they are going out there, the truth is, people are leaving Cameroon, but not everyone will leave Cameroon. Some people will just stay back to make Cameroon much more better for people to come in and develop. But I think if they are going out, it's because they think there is a need which they want to serve. But I'll let them with this one message: if a caterpillar can never be able to fly in America, so if you're not hardworking in Cameroon, going out there, it won't be different. So they should learn to be hardworking here. So going out, they do not become burden to society.
All right, we move away from the Bushfalla syndrome in the country to talk something else with Mutation for today. Mutation newspaper for today says Yaoundé, a fast breeding ground for mosquitoes and malaria in particular, as the nation political capital, have recorded a lot of mosquitoes, as reported to us by Mutation for this morning.
Another talking point again there, Larry, mosquitoes not just in Yaoundé or Douala is becoming something of a general pandemic, and what to make could be a problem, leeching of death by inhabitants who I think are not disciplined as they ought to be. It's like I cannot do all the work for the council all themselves. It's something that must start personally from our homes or community. If we are able to do this, then mosquitoes will not have a breeding ground to give us malaria. Malaria kills rapidly without us knowing. But I think for us to go back to our old days of hygiene, we must learn to keep our homes clean, quarters clean, then malaria will reduce drastically.
All right. In that set, Mutation for this morning, the paper of Terry Ziaga report on petroleum products. It says a prospect increase of petroleum products and the implications that this increase stands to hamper on the economy of Cameroon, as reported to us by Mutation on page 6.
For sure, yet again another issue. Now the economy of a country is very, very important. That's what makes us viable. Without economy, without a sustainable source of income, Cameroon or any country in the world will crumble. So I think when we're talking about the economy, is something which we should learn to see how we can make it attractive. It has to do with investment partnership, because every country depends on the economy for them to survive.
Okay, let's move away from Mutation. We cross now to next door Yaoundé with the paper of Haman Mana Lujou for this day talks of the forestry sector to come out with 45 billion CFA francs as taxes for 2024. Isn't this remarkable from the forestry sector, who will be generating 44 billion CFA francs as taxes for the year 2024?
Well, for sure, it's going to be remarkable because we know that Cameroon has timber which is exported on a daily basis going to Yaoundé. You see them coming from the forest. So I think it is a tax given to them. But my worry still remains the same. Why export all these raw materials? Why don't we create an industry in Cameroon to make these things to do what we want? But we're exporting to France and other countries. Coming back here, the prices are exorbitant. So I expect us to transform it here in Cameroon, and that the economy will stay here in Cameroon.
All right. We take you to page 8 on Lujou. It says 10,000 indirect jobs to be created in the electricity distribution sector of the country.
For sure, thank God or the government for technical schools, because it's now producing more electricians, and I believe they will need job markets. You will see around Moleko, around Boya, connections everywhere, left, right, center, everyone claims to be an electrician. So I believe if these companies want to recruit these persons, it will also help on employment and give them hands-on training to make it more better back in their own streets.
Okay, if you say so. And we move over to next door Yaoundé, once again remaining Yaoundé with the paper of Victor Champ, that is municipal updates. Municipal updates for today says Star Building, Happy New Year, Mr. Prime Minister. As the Prime Minister, head of government, Dr. Joseph John Guti, received New Year wishes yesterday at the Star Building from some external and close collaborators of his.
For sure, another good point there again. We saw him acknowledging the speech of President Paul Biya on 31st of December and coming again to receive New Year wishes. I believe it's not just a wishes ceremony for them to see how they can create Cameroon better 2024, and his collaborators will be advising him, seeing how the different ministries unfold last year, what was the blank sheet and how can they make it more better for 2024.
Okay, we move over to the Northwest region with the minister delegate at the Ministry of External Relations in charge of corporations with the Commonwealth, that is Felix Bayu, who fits the new year with the media family in the Northwest region, as he welcomed journalists who have been doing a remarkable job over there in the Northwest region to start the year in his residence. What do you make of that gesture from the minister delegate at the Ministry of External Relations in charge of the corporation with the Commonwealth?
A good move there, Larry. The media men are the full state of, or the full arm of the state. Without them, the other three can't operate successfully. And most of the time, they are being seen as beggars or as tools to use for political gains. But if these persons can acknowledge what they have been doing and have a fellowship with them, not about giving them money or something, I think it's what every other politician or any other person should learn to copy. That these guys are not just tools for experiment or guinea pigs. We should learn to commune with them because they are the ones who can make or mark the situation when they want to.
Okay, we move over to Marie-Claire Nana's publication of Cameroon Tribune for this morning. Cameroon Tribune newspaper for today on page 16 to 17 reports on the peace mission of the bishops of Cameroon who are in Maroua in the Far North region for the National Episcopal Conference meeting that started last Sunday and is still unfolding in the city of Maroua. So the paper titles that as Peace Mission in Maroua by the Catholic bishops of the country, and it's being presided over by the president of the Episcopal Conference, His Grace Andrew Nkea of the Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province.
For sure, Larry, it is very timely. We've been seeing communiques on social media on crisis of priests. We've been seeing the popes, everything, and I think it's very timely for the Christians to be able to learn or know a thing or two from a particular conference. But it's not going to be a conference that will last for a period of 1 week and comes to an end. I expect to see results after the conference. What next? What is going to be the benefits of those who follow the conference? I think the people need to understand what the priest wants them to understand, and it can only come from such conferences.
Okay, we cross over to next door Nigeria with the Nation. The Nation reports on 37 billion naira and 585 million naira prop. Sadiya, that is a current minister in the Republic of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria, who has been barred from traveling. Just to reiterate, she's a young lady who is in her late 30s and early 40s. So she was barred alongside some other former minister. She's the current Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation for siphoning this colossal sums of money from the state treasury. What do you make of the administration of Ahmed Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, who is sparing no one, even his own ministers in the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Larry, I think this is a good move by Tinubu. We saw Paul Kagame come some months back to say no minister goes out for treatment, that of health. So I think barring them from going out is not just for them to keep the money in the treasury, for them to trust their own outlet, is it health, education, or whatsoever. So I think it is a move by the president to see that the economy stays in the country and then they promote their own leisure activities.
Okay, we move now to Sopekam's publication of Cameroon Business Today. Cameroon Business Today for this morning says University of Buea engineering students showcases potentials in this the various engineering gadgets that they have been able to produce in their stay at the University of Buea, as the paper gives them a thumbs up.
Larry, to me, this is a worrisome issue. We've seen a guy from Bamenda being appreciated by the Prime Minister for what he did, but nothing was done after that. And this guy has also come another good move. The question is, what after? Will he be recommended? Will he be sponsored? Will he be financed? If not, then I think it is just a news which has no substance, because we expect it to be taken to another level, and the government alone can't do this by supporting them.
Okay, we remember Cameroon Business Today this time around with the import substitution policy of the Republic. The Marie-Claire Nana for today is talking on emphasis on the agricultural sector to go a long way to curb on some high rates of dependence of importation of certain products like rice and others, as Marie-Claire is of the opinion that agriculture should be taken seriously by the Cameroonian government this time around, making mechanized agriculture in the country.
Larry, President Kobe said some years back, Cameroonians should produce what they will consume and consume what they will produce. I think it's high time we had gone back to the level of production in terms of agriculture. Nowadays, most persons don't like farming or agriculture. I think at this time when the economy is going very high, the prices of foodstuffs are skyrocketing every day, rice is also becoming expensive, even Gary. I think we must learn to go back to our roots, that's agriculture, and this again can limit the importation of this product. I think Cameroon needs to be an exporter of product rather than an importer at this time of the age.
Okay, we'll cross over to press governance for today. Press governance newspaper for this morning reports on the funeral program of late venerated professor of law, that is Professor Yube Mononjana, one of the sons, illustrious sons from the Lekki division in the Central region, whose funeral the sum of 13,560,000 CFA francs has been collected as support of his funeral that will be coming up in the days ahead.
Larry, I see you laughing, but to me, I think it is what he has worked for because a wise man once said, we're going to be judged by the lives we have touched here on earth. A professor must have touched so many lives that I think even his students may want to give him a befitting burial. I believe he had a befitting life. So coming to befitting burial will not be a bad thing because he's a legend. He has touched life, impacted lives. So giving the 13 million francs and even more to come, to me, it is a good move. But the money should not just end at the funeral. What about the family and the children?
Okay, let's take you to Bafusam this time around with L'Ouest Echo newspaper for today is interested in the presidency of the new measure, that is Cameroon Union of Employers and Cameroon Enterprises, that is GICAM and ICAM, who now measures to form what is now known as GICAM. He says, will Antoine Ziggy be the favorite candidate for the position of the GICAM, as Celestin Tawamba is interim president and he hasn't mentioned his intent if to run or not?
For sure, Larry, presidency is something which powers are always being exchanged. We want it more because we saw that with the condominium in Cameroon between France and Britain. So I think this level of who becomes the president, the vice president is very, very important. And you need someone who is actually honest and responsible for he or she to take this particular post.
Okay. Let's make a stop over with the paper of Lucas Tenek. That is the reporter. The reporter for today of Lucas says at event to fight hate speech in Buea, the member of parliament Malumba Isembe delivers presidential relief material to victims of terrorism in the southwest and Buea to be precise.
Malumba has been working for the past 1 week from the taxi drivers. She was receiving an award from the chiefs and now visiting those affected by terrorism. I think it's a good move for him because he's actually working. That's what we want parliamentarians to be doing. Though some people may have different point of views, but I think it's a good move going close to the people, getting their own story and turning it to the right sources. So I think it's a good move from Honorable Malumba.
But with 2025 just at the corner and we know what is happening in 2025 general elections.
For sure, elections are coming and reports have it that the gadget he gave to taxi men are from the president that was being sent. So I know it is maybe a campaign, but I think it is also timely because these people also need a particular thing from survive this end or this beginning of the year.
Okay, if you say so. We move over to the Bankolo mudslides in the Yaoundé 2 Council area. It says President Paul Biya offers the sum of 92 million CFA francs to some 56 affected families of the mudslides that occurred last year, 2023.
For sure, that's something which is very touching and heartbreaking when you see people losing their loved ones and orphans and widows. I think the president has always been there when it comes to such issues, showing that fatherly concern and fatherly love to the Cameroonians. While we expect more to be done, we expect the Ministry of Housing to also go into consideration of knowing where houses are being built so that such things don't happen in the nearest future.
Okay, we move over to Bamenda with the paper of we move over to Bamenda with the paper of the Landong, that is the Herald Tribune. The Herald Tribune for today says Vatican releases Global Catholic Statistics Report, and we went further to reviews on an increase of Catholic faithful. It says some 16,240,000 Catholic faithful with 8,312,000 in Africa, while Europe drops to some 244,000 in Europe, while America increased by 6.29 million Catholic faithful in the United States of America, North America to be precise, and Latin America.
For sure, Larry, we talk about Catholics. That's one of the strongest religions in Africa. So I think we should be able to see how we can make it much more better.
Okay, so let's make a stop over with the Douala Port Authority. It says boards congratulate management in annual report of the Douala Port Authority. Get to read details on that paper on page 5. That we see the Douala Port Authority under the tutelage of Cyrus Ngor, who many Cameroonians are congratulating for doing enormous good job over there in the city of Douala.
For sure, Cameroonians will always sing praises when they ought to sing praises, though at times it's controversial. But I think if they think it is good for them, then maybe it is good. But I think more needs to be done from the KBC post and the others. We need to see more coming, not just from Douala every year.
Okay, we move over to Le Soir Tribune Hebdo for this day. It talks of the letter by the Minister of Public Health, Manauna Malashi, to health soldiers in the country, who says results needs to be obtained, more better results needs to be obtained in 2024 as compared to 2023. He was speaking as he received New Year wishes by from some close collaborators of his set ministry, and this letter or communique that he signed recently.
For sure, defense is very important for every country, and these men actually need to do more better. It's true that giving in their all north, northwest, southwest, east, and everything, but I think we need more from them in terms of protection. We see every day attacks coming in at the north, so I think the minister has seen what they have been doing, but he wants more for them, like Oliver Twist.
Okay, we talk sports with the sports newspaper for this morning. Charles Kane on Dybala.
Though Chelsea is my club, I think Dybala is aging, and a good move, a move for him at this time may not be on their plan because they're working on a very young project. But if they want Dybala, so be it.
Okay, Kylian Mbappe to decide future soon.
For sure, Mbappe has been on the news for the past two first seasons with a move to Real Madrid, but I think this year may just be the one for him to make a final move. Is it Real Madrid or staying at Paris Saint-Germain?
Okay. Debutants of the African Cup of Nations and the Super Eagles. He says debutants. Eagles parade in 9 AFCON newcomers.
For sure, Cameroon has 15, Nigeria has 9 newcomers to the AFCON. I think it's a good move from Nigeria, but a bad one at the same time because last season they never had the likes of Victor Osimhen to play the AFCON, and this year again we have Victor Boniface and injured. So I think these 9 players coming in will also be wanting to create history for themselves. Can they win a full AFCON with Nigeria? That can only be answered after the 11th of February.
Former French wonder boy and former PSG striker Thierry Henry opens up on depression.
For sure, you cannot talk about football without talking about depression. They always want to go back on him the same thing every day. He's a good coach, so I think he has been with Belgium and now another country. So I think he actually needs to man up. He's no more a player, now a coach. So these are the two different atmospheres which he's facing, but must come to terms that he's now a coach.
Okay, Cameroon, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, a zone with 3 different frontiers of the state. What do you make of Cameroon with CEMAC member countries? The paper titles that 3 different frontiers. When it comes to economic activities and fostering bilateral relationship in the CEMAC region.
For sure, Cameroon is the leader of a CEMAC region, and we expect more from them in terms of trading, in terms of communication, in terms of traveling. You don't expect someone to pay the same from Cameroon to Nigeria, Cameroon to Congo, traveling from Nigeria to Congo. So I think the president, which is President Pobia, must see into the fact that there is an easy movement, transportation, and also economy should be very, very valuable for the two of the whole zone.
Okay, we talk economic with Quotidien Economy for this morning. Quotidien Economy is interested too in the corridors of Cameroon as the Republic of Chad and the Republic of Central African Republic. The paper reports on transit when it comes to goods and services, or goods to be precise, in these 3 localities in the CEMAC sub-region.
Larry, that's what I've been crying for over decades now. We don't expect the same fare to be given from Chad to Cameroon, Cameroon to Congo, and Guinea. The same. We expect some kind of difference when we're talking about this particular transit. So I think it is high time the CEMAC zone sit together as one and see how they can bring down these prices of transportation of goods and services.
Okay, hydrocarbon petroleum products. The paper reports on Cameroon now increases her imports rate of fall to the country to the tune of the amount of some 748,000 tons of petroleum products imported into the country, as that was revealed by the Minister of Water and Energy, Gaston Elundu Isumba.
Coming at a time when Cameroonians are crying for lack of finances to get basic needs, I think this particular move may actually affect Cameroonians drastically in terms of transportation, in terms of feeding and everything, and is also taxi fare will also increase if it's not taken. So I think Cameroonians need to beef up themselves and see how they can get used to the upcoming high taxes or petroleum fare.
Okay, we move over to the paper of Paul, Reality Plus. Reality Plus for today says Housing and Urban Development Minister Celestine Kecha Cortez keep on working hard as she has announced her presence to the city of Douala and Marwa in the Littoral and Far North region respectively for this great engagement of some projects that her ministry is undertaking in these two localities.
For sure, ever since she left as a mayor of Bangante, she has been working extremely well with our collaborators to see that there is development in terms of housing and development. And that's what one minister has to be doing. It's not an office sitting job. It's for you to go into the field, see what is being done, and see how you can make it more better. Because that is why you are being put, so you are being paid, and the money you are being paid for. So I think it's a good move for her, and I want every minister who is sleeping to look up to her and pick up their lessons.
Okay, we crossed over to Telegram News for today. Telegram News for today celebrates one outstanding lady in the country in the person of Danielle Ongono, who the paper described as someone who have the hearts of the vulnerable intact, as she donated tons of millions CFA francs to some vulnerable children, children living with disabilities and those affected with HIV and AIDS.
Larry, a friend of mine always tells me people don't care how much you know until you know how much you care. She has been doing that for a good period of time now. I think it's high time whereby Cameroonians appreciate what needs to be appreciated. Going to orphanages and giving money, I think is something which is good because these people are mostly forgotten by the government and by society. So if someone can remember them at this time of the year when people are saying things are hard, I think it's a good move from her.
Okay, with things are hard situation in Cameroon, we take you to Media d'Afrique. Media d'Afrique for today talks of this emergency envelope from emergency envelope to the tune of 22.7 billion CFA francs for 2024 in order to address the things are hard situation in Cameroon.
A good move there, Larry, but the question is, will it be used for the right purpose? We have seen this same move being done in the previous years, but we have not seen the effects. So many are left to wonder and ponder if at all the money being given is for a particular group of persons. But if at all this year can be different, then that's going to be a good story for the Cameroon as far as the economy and expenditure is concerned.
We take you to the UK this time around with the tabloids. Daily Express for today talks of rebel fires warning shots at British Prime Minister Richard Sunak over the Rwanda bill, where persons who are wanting to seek asylum or in the UK needs to be transited to Rwanda in Africa. But the British Prime Minister is not having an easy go with politicians of the opposition camp who says no, those who wants to come to the UK, let them be the UK and not take them to the East African nation of Rwanda.
I think that's a good move from the parliamentarian. That's why we have them there working to ensure that the people's voices are being heard. Because without them, then you are most likely living in a dictatorial regime. So if they can make that move against the prime minister, then I think it's a good move. Rwanda is a good